Hello everyone, I'm Anas Al-Ubaidi and this is the lecture or session 22 within chapter 20 of the Advanced Medical Science Liaison and Medical Monitor Certification course program by CCRPS. As the chapter is about specialized monitoring techniques, while the topic for the session or for the lecture is about monitoring of multi-center and single-center trials. Introduction. Clinical trials are the backbone of evidence-based medicine, aimed at validating therapeutic effects and ensuring safety across diverse populations. Depending on their objectives, these trials can be categorized as multi-center or single-center studies, each with distinct advantages and complexities. The success of either design hinges on effective monitoring practices. Monitoring ensures adherence to study protocols, accurate data collection, patient safety, and compliance with regulatory demands. It is the linchpin that bridges operational diligence with scientific excellence, ensuring that trial results are reliable and actionable. Key points. We'll start with definitions and comparison of multi-center, single-center trials. As single-center trials, definition a clinical study conducted exclusively at one site or institution. These trials are often utilized for initial investigations, pilot studies, or focused evaluations. Characteristics: small participant pool, simplified logistics and centralized monitoring, easier coordination of investigators and trial personnel, limited scope and external validity due to homogeneous demographics. As for example, testing an innovative pain management protocol at a single specialty hospital. Before proceeding, as here we have a summarized diagram summarizing the clinical trials by definition and characteristics. Definition: a clinical study at a single site for the single center trial, and characteristics, features of single site clinical trials. Continuing now, we'll explain or define the multi-center trials. Definition and clinical trials spanning multiple sites, sometimes across different cities or countries, aimed at recruiting a larger and more diverse participant population to enhance data reliability and generalization. Characteristics: larger and geographically dispersed participant pool, increased statistical power and external validity, greater complexity in coordination, communication, and protocol adherence. As for example, a multi-center vaccine trial conducted across 50 hospitals globally to assess immunogenicity and safety in different racial and ethnic populations. Now we have this table about the aspects, and for each aspect, when it is single center trials and when it is multi-center trials. By each aspect, the skill. For single center trials, localized design, while for multi-center, national or global scope. Coordination, easy and centralized for single, but for multi-center, complex across multiple sites. Statistical power is moderate for single center, but for multi-center trials, it's high, enables subgroup analysis. Validity, it's limited in single center trials, while in multi-center trials is more broader and more generalizable. Now the challenges. As for any implementation in clinical trial for against any versus any implementation, there are challenges. So challenges in monitoring single center and multi-center trials. For single center trials, resource limitations, as dependence on single site staff and infrastructure can create bottlenecks. As for example, a phase 1 trial struggles to maintain timelines due to a staff shortage in the only research site. Limited representation of participants. Single site recruitment often results in a lack of generalizability, particularly for diverse populations. Example, a neurologic rehabilitation trial conducted at an urban hospital excludes rural subjects, undercutting its applicability to those populations. Before proceeding, as here we have summarized diagram on which trial type to choose based on challenges. We have here single center trials, faces resource limitations, limited participant diversity, and investigator bias risks, while for multi-center trials, we have encounters protocol variability, communication gaps, and data integrity threats. Investigator bias risks, as one of the challenges for single center trials, the centralized setup can inadvertently lead to recruitment or measurement biases if investigators are not blinded or protocols are loosely enforced. While for multi-center trials, the challenges can be protocol variability across sites, variations in protocol implementation compromise consistency between centers, leading to discrepancies in data quality. As for example, differing interpretation of eligibility criteria across enrollment sites for an oncology trial. Communication gaps, time zone differences, language barriers, and distributed research teams introduce delays in data reporting and issue resolution. As for example, a cardiovascular trial spanning continents reports delayed adverse event evaluations due to insufficient cross-site coordination. Data integrity threats, greater trial complexity creates opportunities for missing or inconsistent data entries, as for example, a vaccine trial encounters discrepancies in adverse event AE documentation due to untrained site staff. And here we have a table on challenges. As the challenge for each challenge, single center and multi-center. For challenges, we have simplicity in protocol setups. For single center, high, it's low for multi-center. Resource limitation impact, localized for single, for multi-center, distributed. For data and heterogeneity, minimalized for single center, but for multi-center, pronounced across diverse populations. Advanced monitoring techniques. For single center trials, real time data capture systems. Implement electronic data capture, EDC. Platforms integrated with wearable biosensors for live data and tracking. As for example, a single site Parkinson's trial uses wearable motion trackers linked to centralized dashboards for real time symptom monitoring. On site monitoring. Frequent in-person supervision ensures compliance, protocol adherence, and reduces operational gaps. As for example, weekly site visits in a pain management pilot ensure that adherence to precise dosage adjustments is maintained. And here's a summarized diagram on which monitoring technique should be used for the trial, single-center trials, and multi-center trials. And continuing with the advanced monitoring techniques now for multi-center trials, risk-based monitoring RBM focus resources on high-risk sites, endpoints, or operations showing deviations, meaning redirect or re-guide the resources according to the prioritization of the risks. Example, an oncology trial flags sites with high adverse event reporting discrepancies for proactive intervention. While centralized monitoring, we have also one of the advanced techniques, uses real-time dashboards and systems for consistent oversight across sites. Example, a diabetes trial tracks glucose monitor data across 10 trial sites through live streamed analytics software. Protocol harmonization training conduct uniform virtual or in-person site training to align procedural understanding. As for example, virtual protocol workflow training ensures coordinated startup for a multi-center arthritis study with sites in 5 countries. Data analytics for quality control. Machine learning flags outliers and provides early trend analysis and reporting biases or methodological inconsistencies. As for example, discovers significant recruitment delays at one site due to underperformance. And here we have a table on techniques. Technique for each technique, purpose, application example. EDC, ensure real-time data collection, example wearable for head injury evaluations. Centralized reporting, purpose, detect trend early, application example, remote longitudinal asthma trial. RBM, risk-based monitoring approaches, purpose, risk mitigation of endpoint deviations, example, applicable example, or application example, vaccination adverse effects, AEs tracking. Now, benefits of advanced monitoring techniques. Improved data quality, automated real-time alerts accuracy eliminates transcription errors. Example, nutritional trials collect dietary logs automatically through integrated apps. Enhanced safety measures, automated adverse event flagging reduces timelines to intervention. Example, a COVID 19 vaccine trial halts recruitment based on rapid site-wide elevated hepatic enzyme readings. Cost effectiveness, risk based centralized monitoring optimizes expenses compared to exhaustive manual oversight. Swift regulatory approval, harmonized input streamlines regulatory submission, congruence globally globally. And before continuing, here we have a summarized diagram summarizing the advantages of advanced monitoring. As here we have improved data quality, cost effectiveness, swift regulatory approval, and also enhanced safety measures. Recent advancements in monitoring: blockchain and data integrity, which is the audit trail system. Tamper-proof diary logs improve AE reports across decentralized multi-center setups. Live dashboards, investigators receive consolidated data sets accessible in real time. So here the advancement, the application example for each advancement. As for blockchain logs, application ensures tamper-proof longitudinal safety. Example, vaccine tracking for phase 3. Advancement of remote monitoring, application enhances speed of real-time corrections. Example, reduces multi-center dropout. Final takeaway. As monitoring multi-center and single-center trials is a critical function ensuring scientific validity, ethical adherence, and operational efficiency. Tailored strategies like standardized on-site protocols for single-center trials and centralized or risk-based monitoring frameworks for multi-center trials ensure data integrity and participant safety. With the integration of advanced analytics, wearables, and blockchain technologies, trial designs are becoming faster, more reliable, and more efficient. And basically, those are the outcomes we are looking for and aiming for while conducting clinical trials: becoming faster, more reliable, and more efficient. Advanced physician medical monitors (AMMs) must employ nuanced approaches to align trial execution with regulatory expectations and real-world patient-centered outcomes, becoming the driving force behind seamless and impactful clinical research. Summary tables, upcoming tables to summarize what we have covered in this lecture. As here we have table on comparison between single center and multi-center trials, aspect single and multi-center trials. As aspects scale, coordination, data validity, resource needs, and common example. A table on challenges in single center multi-center trials, as the challenge impact on single, the impact on multi-center trials, and proposed solution. Challenges in investigator bias, population representation, resource dependence, communication delays, data collection errors. Table on monitoring techniques for single center and multi-center trials. As we have the techniques, focus area for each technique, single center trials example, multi-center trials example, and then impact. Techniques, we have real-time data capture, risk-based monitoring RBM, on-site inspections, centralized oversight, and then harmonized training. Table on key benefits linked to advanced monitoring. Beneficial for single center trials, beneficial for multi-center trials. Example, application impact on trial success. Benefits, we have enhanced data quality, improved participant safety, efficiency of operations, cost reductions, regulatory readiness. Table on recent advancements in trial monitoring technologies, advancement, description, application in single center, application in multi-center, and then outcome. Advancements, we have remote monitoring tools, blockchain for security, predictive analytics, electronic clinical platforms, and wearables and sensors. Application table, as here we have scenarios. For each scenario, we have the key principle applied, key actions, timeline, what to watch out for. Scenarios, we have single center neurology study using EEGs, multi-center oncology immunotherapy trial, diabetes trial at a regional hospital, multi-site vaccine study in 10 countries, harmonized training for arthritis therapies, blockchain logging in global cancer study, and then regional cardiovascular therapy testing. Continuing with scenarios, food effect BE trial across 5 multi-center locations, pediatric nutrition single center pilot study, remote monitoring in phase 4 cardiovascular study. Next, we will be revising what we have covered through this lecture through some MCQs or multiple choice questions. Question 1. What is the primary advantage of single center trial compared to multi-center trials? So the primary advantage for or of single center trials in comparison or compared to multi-center trials. So A, broader population representation, B, lower complexity and easier coordination, C, enhanced generalizability of results, D, access to global monitoring technologies. So 3 from 4 choices are applied to multi-center, but we need the one in comparison to multi-center, the one for single in comparison to multi-center trials, and one is applicable only, which is B. As B is the answer, lower complexity and easier coordination for single center trials compared to multi-center trials. The other 3, broader population representation, enhanced generalizability of the results, and global monitoring technologies access. The other 3 applies to multi-center trials. As single-center trials are easier to manage due to centralized processes and a smaller population pool, make coordination and monitoring less complex. However, they lack the broad representation and external validity of multi-center trials. Question 2. What is one major challenge commonly faced in multi-center trials? One major challenge commonly faced in multi-center trials. A, limited access to advanced monitoring techniques. B, investigator bias due to centralized recruitment. Site-to-site variability in protocol compliance. C, or D, over-dependence on a single site's resources. So definitely the answer is C. As limited access, A, investigator bias, and over dependence on a single site's resources. So ABD, these 3 from 4 applies to single center trials. The question is one major challenge from the following commonly faced in multi-center trials. And here, as we have discussed and covered through this lecture, as one of the subjects for this lecture or session is the variability in addition to the complexity and applying the protocol in regard protocol adherence. So which is C. C is the answer. Site-to-site variability in protocol compliance. As multi-center trials often involve multiple sites where differences in adherence to protocols can lead to inconsistencies in data collection and trial outcomes. Standardized protocols and centralized training sessions help mitigate this challenge. Question 3, how does centralized monitoring benefit multi-center trials? A, eliminates the need for on-site staff training. B, provides real-time insight into trial data across sites. C, promotes uniform populations across sites. Or D, avoids AE reporting requirements. So whenever there is centralized monitoring, we know that we have remote oversight and we have real-time data application. So as one of the answers provides real-time insight into trial data across sites. So B is the answer. As centralized monitoring allows remote oversight, consolidating data into live dashboards and reports that help identify inconsistencies, adverse events, or deviations across all locations in real time. Question 4. Why are real-time data capture systems like EDC crucial for single-center trials? The reason for that. A, they limit access to single-site investigators only. B, they support faster automated monitoring and reduce manual errors. C, they expand participant representation automatically. Or D, they create broader protocol variability. As we know here, why do we need real-time data capture? As the only one applicable, they support faster automated monitoring and reduce manual errors or manual bias. So B is the answer. Electronic data capture EDC systems streamline data entry and analysis, allowing real-time monitoring that reduces manual errors and enhances efficiency, especially in single-site studies. Question 5. What advanced technique can improve data integrity in both single and multi-center trials? Is it A, blockchain technology for trial documentation? B, eliminating the use of biosensors? C, restricting monitoring to on-site visits? Or D, limiting recruitment speed? So definitely it's A, as we are talking about improvement and enhancement of data integrity, data quality. In whatever trial, including single center and multi center trials, but whatever kind of a trial, in order to improve the data integrity and the quality and the transparency in data as well, we need a blockchain. We need the audit trail system. So blockchain here as A is the answer, blockchain technology for trial documentation. As blockchain technology secures unalterable trial logs and ensures transparency, which enhances data integrity and consistency across single and multi-center trials while allowing real-time oversight. And here we come to end of this lecture. Thank you very much and goodbye.